All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We are recording this, so if anyone couldn't make it and would love to hear this presentation, we will certainly have it available. I'm Amy Sherman. I'm the president of the Northwest Douglas County Chamber and EDC. Welcome to our monthly membership luncheon. This is a great topic, and we're not going to talk about politics or the pandemic. We're going to talk about transportation, which is really important to all of us. I'm going to start with thanking our members who are big supporters of our organization, and I'd like to give a shout out to our gold level members today: Brandon Companies and Credit Union, Farmers Insurance, Jonathan Dodd Agency, KWB Hotels, Martin Consulting Engineering, the Odo Group, Leader One Financial, Waste Connections, Wells Fargo Bank, Windcrest. Our platinum members: Allstate Insurance, Khaleesi Agency, and Highland Ranch Community Association. And our strategic partners: Children's Hospital of Colorado, Douglas County, Fairfield and Woods, First Bank, Littleton Adventist Hospital, Schomp Automotive Group, and Sterling Ranch. So thank you to our supporters and all of you who are members of our organization. You know, we're a membership driven organization, so we appreciate you more than ever. So thanks for being here. I would like to turn it over right away to Commissioner Laura Thomas. Laura sits on our board of directors and obviously is a county commissioner, but I'd like to introduce her and let her have the mic for a few minutes here.
Thank you, Amy, and it's nice to see everybody. I wish I could see all of you, but it's always good to be able to visit with our important business community, because you are the backbone of our community, and we very much respect and appreciate all you do for us. So last year on the ballot in November, we're talking a year ago's ballot, not the one that was just 2 weeks ago, was a proposal called 1A that was a county initiative. And the commissioners put that on the ballot. What we did is we asked voters if they would be willing to move a portion of a sales tax that funded capital construction at the Justice Center over to roads. That was a 0.18 of the 1 cent county sales tax. And the voters approved that. What that does is allows $220 million additional dollars to come to roads for the next 16 years without increasing taxes. I'm sure all of you have driven on the GAP, the I-25 project from Castle Rock to Colorado Springs. And Douglas County committed $10 million to that project. We were going to pay $5 million in 21 and $5 million in 22 towards that project. But because 1A did pass a year ago, we were able in November this month to pay CDOT the entire $10 million commitment for the Douglas County portion. And so we are already seeing great payoffs from the voters' approval to put more money for roads. I want to introduce Janet Herman. Janet is the head of our Public Works Department, or maybe Public Engineering. Janet, you're going to have to correct me. I never get that word right. But Janet is amazing. She has this ability to get people to come together and get amazing projects done. And in Douglas County, we're able to do that because of our partnerships with CDOT, municipalities, and others. So you're all in for a real treat. Janet is going to show you some of the great projects that are on the drawing board and getting worked on right now. And I think that those projects help your businesses. When people aren't stalled in traffic, they can get more work done, they can be more productive, you can get more productive, you can be more productive. And if you are having freight or products move over the roadways, when the roadways are moving better, that's better for your businesses. So Janet, why don't you go ahead and tell the citizens everything that you have on the drawing board for them.
Thanks, Commissioner Thomas, and congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you.
All right, Janet, you are up.
Okay, thank you. Yep, I'm Janet Herman. I'm the Director of Public Works Engineering. I also have a couple people joining us from engineering, just so that at the end of our presentation, we'll have people here to answer questions for everybody. We have Matt Williams. He's our Assistant Director of Public Works Engineering. Art Griffith is on the line. He's our capital improvements manager. And also Zeke Lynch, who is new to our group this past spring. He is our transportation engineering operations manager. So if you have questions that I can't answer, we have those people waiting, willing, and able to answer the questions. So we'll get started. This is our 2020 transportation project update. It also talks about, as Laura pointed out, what we have on the board for our drawing board for next year as well. So the first project we'll talk about is, of course, everybody knows this project. It's the C470 Express Lanes. I think the most important thing to say about this project, it finally was completed and open to the public on August 18th, 2021. And of course, we had a lot of partners on that one. This one I know is interesting to most of everybody. It's our US 85 Highlands Ranch Parkway to Dad Clark project. Full reconstruction. We're going to have 3 lanes in both directions. There'll be a continuous axle decel lane. We're adding a 10-foot trail on the east side of 85. There'll be some separated trail crossings at C470 and the Highline Canal, which I think is a really important one. And there'll also be some bus stop improvements. Our anticipated construction schedule is to start construction beginning summer of 2021. That's going to be a 2.5-year project to completion. We are currently almost complete with acquisition of our right-of-way. I think we have 1 left to finish. I know Art and his group have been really busy working on getting relocations done for utilities. We've had some big major ones, Excel and CenturyLink, for instance, that have to get relocated, and we'll continue relocating those in 21. And one of the interesting things that we're doing on this, and I know a lot of you have already heard that, we're doing continuous flow intersections at Highlands Ranch Parkway, Town Center, and C470. These intersections will increase capacity quite a bit, which didn't require us then to do as much lane widening. We have quite a few partners, as you can see on our list. Interestingly to note, I want to do a shout out to 2 of our big developers. Sterling Ranch and Solstice Developments. They are contributing to this improvement as well, which I think is really important to make this project successful. So I want to thank those developers as well. So this next slide, one of the things we talked about with the continuous flow intersections is we're putting those in at the interchange of C470. What this allowed us to do is we didn't have to put in the flyover from northbound to westbound traffic, which is going to save $30 million just alone on that project. So that was kind of an interesting fact that we thought we'd point out to you guys. Here's the cross section of what the corridor is going to look like. It's 3 lanes in both directions, as I said. We'll have a continuous lane for axle decel on both sides of the road. And then on the east side, there'll be that 10-foot pedestrian bicycle path. Another project that we're working on US 85 is down there at Titan, the Titan interchange. We need to improve the safety and the operations of that. There's a lot of traffic that wants to go east to northbound from Titan onto northbound 85. So what our plan is, and we've got a design complete, we're just trying to get clearances through CDOT, is to widen the on-ramp northbound, and then what that'll do with some striping changes is give us a double left turn from east to northbound. So that should improve operations and capacity in that location. So our plan is to do that summer of 2021. Another project, of course, on US 85 is the mini gap. That has started construction. That began this past summer. That'll be a complete reconstruction with 2 lanes in both directions, just like it is north of there. We'll have 10-foot paved shoulders, raised median, left turn lanes, wildlife fencing. And I think what's really important too is an improved airport road railroad crossing. Our partners on that was FHWA and CDOT. And we think that that should be completed by summer of 2022. Further south on highway, our US 85, as Art has been working feverishly with CDOT to try to get a traffic signal put in at Daniels Park and 85. This is a big safety issue for the county. It'll be a temporary signal, but just trying to get that temporary signal in has been a big lift. We've had to get right of way through there. We've also had to get IREA, I think it's IREA, relocated. So we have to get a new easement for them, but we're getting close to getting that taken care of. So our plan is to complete the overhead relocation of IREA and then install the signal by June of 2021. Just kind of note, that last section that needs to be done is from 67 down to Meadows Parkway. That's the completion of the 4-lane widening. We think that's going to be somewhere in the next 5 to 10 years, and we're still looking for partners on that project. We're proud of the fact that we finished Southern Connector this past summer. In August of 2020, we opened that road. That's a little over 2-mile road that was completed from Airport to Moore Road. I think it looks really pretty out there. So phase 2, this is a big partnership project with Sterling Ranch Community Association Board. Part of their PD commitment was to build that road. So obviously they're paying for the majority of the road. The county is just helping out managing the project for the extension of Waterton from Rampart to Moore Road. We did sign an IGA with Sterling Ranch to provide some upfront money, $13 million, and then they'll pay us back as they develop out. But that project is a 2-lane road. It'll look similar to the Southern Connector. There will be some 4-lane widening in there to help transitions. And then that's anticipated to start construction late spring of 21. And the CAB right now is grading that road, and then they'll be responsible to put some drainage infrastructure as well in there. So they're working hard and heavy on that road as we speak. We're going to move into some traffic operational improvements, and I just want to point out we're doing these improvements all throughout the county, but I'm just focusing on the Northwest Douglas County and Highlands Ranch area. Just wanted to point out in 2020, we've completed 2 new signals that have been on the radar for folks for quite some time. The first one, number 1, is at Wildcat Reserve Parkway, Hyacinth and Spotted Owl. That's over by Thunder Ridge High School. That one has been completed and turned on. The second one was over by University and Cross Point. That's by the Highlands Heritage Park. That was done this year. That's been turned on. And we have 3 new signals that we're planning in the Highlands Ranch area. Number 3 is the Clarkson County Line signal. That will be a temporary signal. And that signal, we got grant money from CDOT for safety. That will go in until we get the widening complete. And then with the widening, we'll put a permanent signal in, but it'll be a temporary for now. And then location number 4, that's County Line and South Suburban Rec Center. They're coming in, and that should be completed in 2021. And the other traffic signal that surprised me, but it's the number 1 signal that's met warrants, is at location 5, that's Lucent Boulevard and Plum Valley Lane. So we'll be adding that as well to our signal list. And then, of course, Sterling Ranch. There's 2 new signals in Sterling Ranch. Sterling Ranch Community Association Board actually installed both of these signals with their development. The Titan Road Roxborough Park is a temporary signal for now. And then they also installed the big signal at Titan Road and Moore. And that, like I said, that was completed by the Sterling Ranch CAB. Some other traffic operational improvements that we'll be doing in the area is we installed 2 new variable message boards. One was at North Bond University Boulevard, South Highlands Ranch Parkway. The other one, of course, was at eastbound Highlands Ranch Parkway, west of University. They're both completed now and operational. And these are messages that for the traveling public, we can add, if there's going to be construction ahead, anything that would alert the traveling public. And what's nice about these VMS signs, as well as all our signals, we can access them remotely. So we can get on our laptops, and if we need to change something, we can do that. Zeke might be able to give a little more information on how we're going to tie those in with the CDOT co-trip. We have a bunch of software that we can tie those together so that if you're traveling along University and there's something happening up on C470, it could give you, you might use an alternate route message for those signs. Another traffic operational improvement that we're going to be installing in 2021, they're permanent count stations. We have 4 of them in Highlands Ranch. 3 of them are going to be located along Lucent Boulevard, 1 north of Plaza, 1 north of Town Center, and 1 north of Highlands Ranch Parkway. The 4th one will be on County Line Road east of University. But the beauty of the 3 that are along Lucent is those will help us track traffic patterns once we start the US 85 project, because we know a lot of people obviously will be diverting off of 85 and using some of our local roads. This will help us kind of track those patterns. If we have to change signal progression or anything like that, we can jump on it a lot sooner because we'll have that information. And what's interesting about these permanent count stations, they will provide the continuous collection of volume, speeds, occupancy in a lane, vehicle classifications, those kind of things. So we'll get a lot of information with these count stations. We've already installed 9 of them in the rural areas. I think we'll be installing another 9 or 11 up in the northern tier, but 4 here in Highlands Ranch for now. Another interesting dilemma that we encountered with our traffic signals, we went with the LED bulb. One where we're going to on the other 30, I believe the equipment is here, and I think we're going to start next week on installing some of those cones. Otherwise, you can see in the picture, we actually have to get a bucket truck and the guys have to chip it out by hand. So we're hoping that those 2 methods will help the safety of those intersections. We've done quite a bit of school and pedestrian safety improvements. This past year, the 3 schools that we focused on, because in a lot of areas we were missing sidewalk or the curb ramps weren't properly installed. They might need a pedestrian refuge or some signage. So that there were 3 main schools in Highlands Ranch. Obviously, one was Redstone, which is over off of Quebec, south of Highlands Ranch or Highlands Heritage Park. The other 2, Saddle Ranch Elementary and Stone Mountain Elementary, are both off of Wildcat Reserve Parkway, kind of in the Westridge area. Those were all completed in 2020. So I believe all our schools that were missing sidewalk or curb ramps weren't right have been completed. The other thing that we're instituting is we have a program set up to do the rectangular rapid flashing beacons. Those will be replacing the old school flashers that you kind of see out on the roads. They're much brighter. They have LED bulbs. They're quite a bit flashing. In fact, we just installed, my next slide will show that. So I'll first finish out this slide. We're going to be putting in 2 new ones in Highlands Ranch. One is over off of Blake, Ridgeline and Blake. That's over by Civic Center Park and the library. We get quite a few people that have requested that to be flashed. And the other one is off of Beneford Ranch Road and Prairie View Drive. That's over by Tepfer Park. So that will be going in as well in 2021. In the Roxborough area, we took out off of Rampart Range Road down by the skate park. We just got done installing that one a couple months ago. That was the old flasher system. So we put in the rectangular rapid flashing beacons down there. So that was already done in 2020. We will be replacing the old flasher on Waterton Road up by Campfire with the new beacon as well. And then we'll also be doing some island modifications at that location. Another safety improvement, this is over off of Business Center Drive and Poplar Way. It's over where the Goodwill store is, and then there's a Target on the south side of the road, just west of Quebec Street. We are, first of all, we're going to rebuild the road because with our pavement management program, because there's a lot of, it needs to be replaced. And then what we're going to do is we came back with a new plan on the access and striping along that road. There's been some accidents there. So we wanted to make it more safe. So that will get a complete redo at that intersection. And that will be done in 2021 as well. And then finally, this is my last slide. During 2020, we spent a lot of time and money replacing, adding, fixing about 10 miles worth of our fiber backbone in that northern tier. This will help us with all our signals, all our VMSs, anything that's with our technology. It'll just give us a more reliable transportation network. And so that should be completed by the end of this year. There might be a couple little areas that they're wrapping up, but for the bulk of it, that will be completed this year. And that was about a $1.6 million project. So with that said, that's all I have for my presentation. So I'd like to open it to questions. And like I said, I have Zeke and Art and Matt on the line as well. So we hopefully can answer any questions that you might have.
Great, and thank you, Janet. And I put this in the chat, but you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask a question or put it in the chat. Our first question was, can you explain what a CFI, a continuous flow intersection, is for people?
Art, are you on the phone? I should have pointed out on the CFI, if you go to that US 85 website that I had on one of the slides, and I'll make sure this presentation gets sent to Amy. They actually have a video, a YouTube video. You can sit and watch it and you can kind of see how the cars and everything work. But Art, if you want to try to explain it, go for it.
Yeah, can you go to that slide really quick, Janet? I think it's the 4th slide or so. So what happens is, and the graphic really helps, in advance of the signal, the traffic, there you go. You can see, I don't know who has a cursor. There you go. That you have this advanced signal right here, and that would be just north of Blakeland Road. And you cross over the northbound traffic that wants to go west on C470 crosses over there, and then they would hold right there, Janet, at the next signal for people getting off of C470, going eastbound to northbound. You could see in this graphic that the southbound traffic will bypass the eastbound to southbound traffic. Now it's on the other side. There you go. Let me drive that.
Can you get it?
I don't know how to share the thing, but but if you follow the eastbound off ramp, Janet, you can see there's a free right turn. There you go, right there, the free right turn to go south. That never stops. So that first signal stops at Blakeland, and then that lane will continue all the way to Norwood as a 4th lane before it drops off. So as Janet pointed out, this has a lot more capacity than a standard double, and even more capacity than a triple left turn. And of course, when you ever have signal times, even for those high movements like a triple left, what happens is it takes a lot of time, or you really can't give them much time, or the through traffic backs up. So there's a lot more throughput north-south without compromising the northbound to westbound heavy movement that we see throughout the day. So not only on that website that was like on the first slide, you want to go there? Yep. You can go there, you can see graphics, but you can also type in CFI and you can watch live videos of those other places in Colorado that they're built, like in Durango and in Loveland. There's other ones proposed in the metro area, and there's a number of them in Utah and other places. So there's a lot of videos that show how they work. And ours is automated because we haven't built it yet, but those other vehicles show the real car traffic. So I hope that helps, Amy.
That's great, thank you. And Andrea put the link to the video in the chat if anyone wants to go look at that. We had another question about this area. Is the gas station and other businesses, are they gone now with this plan? Which on that photo, I don't think we're far enough south. But could you speak to any businesses that would be impacted from like the Highlands Ranch Parkway North to C470 for this update?
We acquired partial right-of-way and permanent easements from 73 parcels, a total of 40 owners, and there was no full takes and no accesses were taken away, but a number of accesses are restricted now to right in, right out, whereas before they would try to pull out and make left turns in or left turns out, and those are all restricted. Those were all identified in the access control plan that was approved back in 2001, and we're finally there to build the project. And with the amount of through traffic on 85, that's just where we're headed. So there are a lot of changes, but nobody's access has been removed, and it's just been, a lot of them have been restricted to right in, right out.
Great, thank you. When we were talking about the new traffic counts along Lucent, will there be detours over to Lucent, or you just want to track people that are not taking 85 because of construction?
Yeah, in fact, that is why we're putting those counts up there, for one reason, and Zeke can elaborate, but we have other permanent VMSs, as well as we'll have project VMSs during construction of 85 to encourage as many people in Highlands Ranch to go north on Lucent or further east up to C470 or County Line Road to avoid the construction on 85 when that gets going. So you're right on, Amy. That's a great question. That those signs are being put in place and to help us monitor how much traffic is going there.
Right.
Yeah, Amy, I would just add to what Art indicated, that what's not shown on that slide is the phase 1 of the permanent count stations that have already been complete. So I think there's a couple other locations that are identified in Highlands Ranch that will further assist us in understanding how people's travel patterns are changing and how we can adjust the traffic signal timing to best get those folks through the signals and get them to where they're going.
Great, thank you. What other questions do we have from the audience? We know you have them. Kim Harburg, I can't believe you don't have a comment or a question. You better come up with one. In the meantime, though, I'm going to publicly thank Matt Williams for that safety improvement outside a campfire in Roxborough. He had to listen to Amy Sherman complain about it for a lot of years. So thank you for getting that installed and making it safer for people to get over to the Highland Canal. All right.
Amy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Amy, can you hear me?
I can.
This is Jake's Brad at Silly Ranch. Oh, good.
Good. Hi, Jake.
I just wanted to hi. I just wanted to quickly chime in to throw some kudos to the county on the Waterton Road extension project. which was a little bit of a pain to get through. Such a big project, so many kind of regional, literal and figurative downstream implications to that project, and it took a long time to kind of work through it all. But thanks to that partnership, we were able to pretty significantly accelerate the construction of that road, which I think benefits everybody. But I want to just publicly acknowledge it was not easy to try to solve that pickle, and Matt and Janet had a big part of that. Spent a ton of time trying to work through it through different iterations, and we got there. But those guys put a lot of time into it, and we appreciate that.
Great, thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, well, you'll get a few minutes of time back for your day here, but if you think of anything at all, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to connect you with anyone from the county, and we will have this presentation. If you need to study it in more detail, we'll be happy to share that. We have the recording and we'll have the PowerPoint as well. So Janet and your team, thank you so much for your time today. Great information. Looks like a lot of action going on in Northwest Douglas County, but we realize it's probably all over the county that you have projects like that. So you're staying very busy, and we appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Amy?
Oh, we have a comment. No questions, but Janet, Art, and the team are doing a great job. So, oh, Krista Simonson, I see you raising your hand. Go ahead.
Hey, so can I ask on the updates on going to red for the restaurant industry, how long does that look? Do you know? Or, I mean, I know if it's okay to ask that at this environment since we're done with the rest of the questions.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I will bounce that over to Commissioner Thomas, but we can certainly talk about that.
Thank you, Amy. Yes, Krista, that's a great question. So the governor's office and the state health department notified the county yesterday in a letter that starting 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, there will be no indoor dining. There can be outdoor dining and takeout, and that this is in effect until the week of December 18th. We did find out this morning that our variants for Park Meadows Mall will stand, and so they are not going to shut down Park Meadows Mall.
Okay.
Does that include their restaurants? Do you know, Laura? How the restaurants?
No indoor dining.
Okay.
Indoor dining.
Okay.
No. And so we are hearing that there are restaurants that are getting together today and tomorrow to band together and to fight this. We are trying to get information, but it's important that all you business owners hear this message. Last week, when Mara, who is the deputy director of the state health department, called us to talk to us about the situation, we asked specifically, is there an ability for Douglas County commissioners to opt our citizens out of this order so that they can make decisions for themselves and their families? And we were specifically and adamantly told no, that in fact, if businesses violate the closure order, that they will consider taking away their business licenses. And if the county supports this, that the governor will consider taking away our CARES Act funding that we are using to help businesses reimburse for their coronavirus expenses. The commissioners had a meeting this morning. We are going to continue talking tomorrow afternoon, seeing if there is anything that we can do to help our businesses stay open. But it's important that all of you hear this, that this is not a decision that is being made by the commissioners.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner
Krista?
Thomas. Yeah, so I work with a lot of restaurants, and so they're only allowed, they can put up tents, but they need to be individual tents, or what are we seeing? Like, is that considered, then does that become outdoor, is that indoor dining then, or how does that work? Because a lot of them have spent the money and done done all that they can to separate tables indoors, and it's probably fairly as safe as possible, but they've now put all this money from the CARES into getting their restaurants ready for the winter weather, and they're completely being locked out of that. Can they do tents outdoors? Or what does that look like for them?
So outdoor dining is still accessible. So they can call the county if they haven't already set up, or call Tri-County Health to see what is it that Tri-County Health will accept and allow as outdoor dining.
And I'd like to tell everybody that Tri-County has a Friday morning call every week where you can ask specific questions. And we've already started connecting with them today with some of our members' questions. So we'll all stay in touch about that, and happy to help any business individually. So Andrea sent out an email today with some resources, and we'll continue to work with Douglas County and Tri-County Health and Arapahoe Douglas Works, and to make sure everybody gets communicated with and the answers to their questions. So thank you for that.
Amy, could I just add that this morning when we looked at the numbers, we have the highest hospitalizations we have had since March 12th. There are 104 people in Douglas County hospitals right now. And as of Tuesday, we had 10 deaths in November. So I'll take you back that we had 1 death in August, 1 in September, 1 in October. And now all of a sudden we have had 10 since the 1st of November. So something is going on. The numbers are going up. And we have been talking with the state for weeks about using severity as the measure to be concerned with. Because if people get COVID and they're home, and if they're a little tired, if they're a little achy, but then in a week they're back at work, is that something that we need to shut down our economy so people lose their businesses over? We are at a point right now that we are being told by the healthcare community that they have been working on overdrive since March, and they are tired, and their human capital, their workforce is limited. And so that is their concern right now, is that as these deaths, if these hospitalizations continue to increase, there is not going to be people to care for people in the hospitals. So I'm just repeating what we are being told. We are trying to get more and more information. I think that's everything, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Commissioner Thomas? We're happy to connect you also. She's been, throughout the entire pandemic, she's been available to the business community. So thank you. All right, everybody, thank you for attending today. Holler if you have any follow-up questions, and we look forward to seeing your faces on Zoom again soon and in person soon after that. So thank you so much. Have a great day.